Salutations! Without this movie, Final Fight, I think, would be a bit different. I keep forgetting about the name of this one, too, but I know it inspired Final Fight in a way which is deep in the Street Fighter lore as well. After hearing Voxandra gush about its awesomeness, I knew I had to watch it for myself. So, not video game, but video game inspired. The cult classic that is Streets of Fire, a rock and roll fable. Start the movie with Rick Moranis? Yeah, he runs this club that a one Ellen Aim and the Attackers play at. Great band name. Packed crowd, about to be even more packed as some biker gang makes their way in, led by a baby-faced Willem Dafoe. Song ends, biker gang attacks the Attackers and kidnap Ellen. So a typewritten letter is sent to our protagonist for the movie, Tom Cody. And he's got the overalls like Hager, but not the moves. First scene, we get to see how badass he is. Some greasers harass the woman at her diner that sent the letter. Her name's Riva. Tom paintbrushes the harasser something fierce and, snatches up his butterfly knife, because Cody and the knife. Takes them all out with ease, throws them all outside, and then grabs their car and takes it for a test drive. So this Cody's also an action junkie, like the video game. Rava talks to him about the biker gang that are called the Bombers, led by Raven Shaddock. They really only have one cop car in this whole deal. They let him off with a warning as one cop already has had run-ins with Tom, who is asked by Rava to save his old squeeze in Ellen M. Tom doing some bar dive. The guy running it, Bill Paxton! Stars all over this movie. He's missing a tooth, being one of the guys that tried to save Ellen and got trounced for it. Yeah, I mentioned that one cop car. I forgot to mention that earlier. Whole biker gang just kind of... Anybody that gets in the way, they kind of throw down a little bit. But their main goal was the girl and to just drive off. Paxton's luck does not approve in telling some other girl, a soldier out of some war named McCoy, who sucker punches Paxton for trying to get her to pay her tab? She looks like trouble, but I guess convinces Tom to give her a spare bed at his sister's place. Sister Riva. Tom gets a black and white flashback about Ellen, and that convinces him to find her. He wants to meet this one Billy Fish at noon as he loads up on guns the following morning. Billy Fish is Moranis, who we saw earlier. He used to live in these slummy parts called the Battery. So he comes along knowing where to go. Tom Cody says, "I'll get Ellen back for $10,000. McCoy player 2s herself into all of this. Cody tells her, 10%, you work for me. Do as I do, say as I do. Gonna leave you behind, all that sort of thing." Raven Shaddock in that black leather overalls with the girl. Kind of looking like Bread from Final Fight. It was a normal-ass enemy. Cody and the others get info that Ellen's being held at a nightclub in the Battery called Torches. Cody's got Fish. "You be the getaway driver. Be ready in 15. Cody hits high. McCoy right through the front door, drops in Eager One. Pulls up on Shattuck and holds them at gunpoint while Cody lights up the motorcycles with his shotty. So the place empties out when Cody runs in, unties Ellen, runs out. Cody stays behind and is like, "Well, get her out of here. I'm going to run off more of these bombers so Fish and the ladies can make a clean getaway." Tom and Raven meet for the first time, the latter of whom declaring, "I'll come back for Ellen and you." Cody returns to the others via stolen motorcycle. Gotta cover their tracks. Turns out Fish might be Ellen's new boyfriend as well as her manager. Ellen and Cody have a little expository argument of why they broke it off. She put her singing career before Cody. Cody can't deal and enlisted. And now he's back from the war like McCoy. A girl recognizes Ellen, and I suspect she tells the others, "Hey, cops are on patrol looking for the ones who tortured torches." So with this information, Cody commandeers a tour bus of an all-African-American band called the Sorrels. Fish not too endearing, especially to Cody. Things are different now. I do things for her you can't. Real type world stuff. Cody just grabs him by the collar and so calmly tells him, "The problem with kicking your ass? Be too easy. They do this while McCoy is doing a tire change on the bus itself. So they're driving along, everyone in a little better mood with some great singing by the Sorrells. Police blockade due to half of the battery going up in smoke with that nightclub. Torchy's was a lord-bearing nightclub, apparently. Fish tries to buy him off. These are more of the racist hick variety cops. So plan B, Cody shotty in hand, like, alright, tough guy, we're gonna walk you out of here. Him and McCoy disarm the cops, they break through the blockade. Now they gotta ditch the bus so it don't get tailed. They get away via subway train and make it back. Fish is upset at the whole ordeal. Ellen's mad at Cody for taking money to save her. One of the bombers is soon talking to the cops. We flash back to Raven talking to one of them saying, I just want Tom Cody. I'll go in with just 2 of mine, keep the peace. Back at the bar, Tom Cody distances himself from McCoy, just telling her, after she's up for more boozing and adventure, I guess, with him, she's like, whatever, you'll get your money, so on, blah, blah, blah. Raven tries to talk some sense into him. Cody's all mad. Ellen chose Fish, but soon the cop that spoke with Raven before us, Cody, come outside and tells him, hey, Raven wants to meet you alone in Richmond. You leave town, so when Raven shows up, me and the rest of the force will be waiting there with guns to arrest Raven Shattuck. You refuse to leave, I'll arrest you with him. You did good rescuing her. Didn't think you had it in you. Now do something else good. Be on that train out of town tonight. Cody comes to the hotel Ellen's staying at. Fish pays him the promised $10,000 and gets all pompous as usual. Even telling him, hey, stick around. Work for even more of his money. Cody blows right past him and tells Ellen, no one ever had a hold on me like you did. Years ago, I'd have done anything for you. Not anymore, babe. Tells Fish he'll take the 10%, the $1,000 he promised McCoy. Fish, you keep the rest of your money. See, Ellen comes around. They have their kiss in the pouring rain moment. Makes things right with her and McCoy. The 3 of them are on the train to leave town. A little closer to Richmond, though, it turns out. Cody tells Ellen, I got unfinished. Take care of... And... knocks her down. I don't understand what's going... Take her out of here, McCoy. Like, holy shit! Keep going till you reach Bayside. Hide out there. I'm gonna finish business. I'm gonna have this fight, I promise, with this biker. Lynn Thigpen running the subway kiosk, tells Cody. Richmond's closed off. Ain't nothing in or out. So I can't take the train back. So I'm like, plan B. True to the cops' words, they've got everybody waiting for Raven and his 2 bikers, but Raven's no fool. One air horn, the whole gang pulls up behind him all biked out. Fish plays hero and gets dropped by one of the bombers. Hey, annoying, but he does come around, and when he lets to be. Anyway, I've seen the picture here. This number 2 guy in the bombers looking like Bill Murray, but not Bill Murray once you get close up when you see him. I've been calling him Discount Bill Murray the whole movie. I didn't remember the actual guy's name. Cody arrives, so we get our one-on-one using, I think mining hammers or something of that nature with the cops, bikers, and now the armed townspeople watching as well. Yeah, it's like, oh, shit's going down. We gotta run these guys out of here. I guess gang territory or something like that. Maybe the Greasers are their gang or something like that, kind of like the Warriors or something. They're turf. They're little piece of turf. Raven takes the L. The cops in townies point their rifles at the rest of the bombers. Not Bill Murray, just rounds them up and says, we're out of here. They carry their battered and beaten, nearly half to death Raven Shattuck, I guess, back to the battery. Fast forward, we got the Sorrells on stage at Fish's nightclub. He and Cody patch things up. Cody says, she needs you. Fish relents. She needs me, but loves you. Cody says, I'm too unreliable. Talks to Ellen. I ain't the type of guy to carry your guitars for you. If you need me, I'll be there. Kind of wait for her to return that right hook to Cody. Not just, okay, and then close out a performance. Cody gets driven off into the proverbial sunset by McCoy, who found his red car he keeps finding and ditching. It's like, how do you find this thing? Unless they're different red cars, but honestly, I think it's funnier if it's the same one. Like, how does this keep coming back to me? And that's Streets of Fire. It feels like the 50s meshed with the 80s. The soundtrack is very much that vibe. Anyway, my usual awards. For Best Character, McCoy. No bullshit with her. She wanted in Cody's rescue attempt. Went above and beyond in that regard. And all with just a pistol. Anytime she wasn't on screen, I dared to wonder, where's McCoy? I'm like, can the second movie, like, if we're going to do the sequel, can the movie be about her? More on that later. Worst character. It's very easy to say Fish, playing the annoying wannabe know-it-all side character. Still smart enough to know he's not tough enough to go into the battery by himself, but enough of a dick to let Cody go in himself while he waits. See, I mentioned that. He's like, I don't know my way around that place. You do. You come and wit. Like a perfect bad portion to balance out McCoy's awesomeness. Best moments, sticking it to the man's always good to see, and by that I mean the hit cops that tried to hold up our heroes. One even making a racist comment towards Sorrells on the bus. It's like, oh, it's these types, huh? They're gonna have them off the bus, and then they ain't getting off the bus, and then Cody pulls out the shotty. It's like, all right, we walking outside, be all cool. Worst moment? I don't know. I guess I expected a little more action and fighting, but again, that's just me being how deep does the final fight go? It might have been inspired, but I don't know, like all the way through. Mostly that sucker punch to Ellen kind of like, and even that was like more of a, what, did not see that coming. First time I saw it, I was so stunned I stopped writing the review for a few minutes and rewound because I couldn't believe what I saw. Overall, I can say I'd watch this again if it was on in the background or something. A solid 7.5 out of 10. People I spoke to who have seen this regard it as a classic, and I'd agree with them. Yeah, I've always heard about it, but never saw it for myself until recently. Really cool style of what if the golden oldies of the 50s and 60s never truly left at the time of the modern 80s, or well, at least at the time, the 84 was still kind of... The movie says as such, it's a different time, a different place. Streets of Fire, a rock and roll fable. Thanks to YouTube, I kind of broke the mystique of Dan Hartman's I Can Dream About You. I always thought that was a Motown hit for the longest time on whenever I heard it over the radio. But no, it something that came out the exact same year as the movie. It was made for the movie probably, so it just wraps it up nicely. That's where that 0.5 portion comes in. I'm like, just that alone, I'm like, Anyway, while looking for picks for this movie, one led me to a name I actually follow on YouTube called Rage Quitter 87, who has a Final Fight shrine, and a link to the Streets of Fire movie. A couple things there. It's like, okay, this cop is here. Might have been inspired Eddie, but this cop is on Tom Cody's side. Eddie is clearly working for Mad Gear. But yeah, they mentioned the overalls for Raven, and then Bread for Final Fight 1. He's the guy on the silver overalls that walks out. Very basic enemy Final Fight. You kill countless of them. But yeah, the link for the Streets of Fire portion reads down to mention that this was supposed to be part 1 of a Tom Cody trilogy. But box office sales for the movie tanked that dream. It didn't do as well. It made just a little bit over half of what the movie cost. The last detail on that mentions somebody did make an unofficial sequel that has Tom Cody in it. It was super hard to find what it was, apparently. It's a 2012 movie called Road to Hell, so I'm going to check that out and review that as well. See if that holds up. I'm a little skeptical about this one. I was skeptical about Streets of Fire too, but I came back away and was like, this is all right. I will provide the link to where I found Road to Hell in the meantime, because again, a lot of people are saying yeah, this was hard to find. So you want to check that out too ahead of time before I do my review? Feel free. But yeah, that's my review for Streets of Fire. Take care, and some people never talk about their feelings. They got 'em deeper than anybody. Other people never talk about their feelings because they ain't got any. I've only seen the movie once. I might be paraphrasing from WikiQuote here. It happens.